That's the entire proposal?
Yeah, that's the entire new section.
Who's not a registered voter, registered as a libertarian?
Yep.
Has this happened to our detriment in the recent past?
Ron Paul, Peter Schiff, probably Ron Paul again.
Well, Peter Schiff didn't run as a libertarian, he ran as a Republican.
Oh, no, we lost members because of it, I'm sure. Or people didn't join because of it.
Because of what?
Because you gotta be a Republican to vote in the primary. For what? I don't know, but...
Well,
oh, you mean people change their affiliations?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too, and I changed mine back.
the way I read that
A lot of
proposal is
libertarians
that
did.
it's to take a leadership role within the Connecticut Libertarian Party. You must be a registered libertarian. Am I understanding that correctly?
You are understanding that perfectly.
The reason that happened is because Ron Paul was much more libertarian than the quote libertarian candidate, who was probably the worst in party history.
I agree with that.
That's what happened.
I don't see how that explains it, but I don't see. I mean, and I've said this to you on the phone before. I don't like this. I don't see value. Are we that close to getting major party status that our registration numbers matter? And if not, all we're doing is saying we're going to hurt a viable candidate. Ideally, we're going to hurt a viable candidate by discouraging people from voting Republican. For what? We know where these people stand.
Well, let me clarify some of the thinking behind this. Basically, if you want to serve in that capacity in a major party, I like to look toward the major parties for two things: things that work and things that don't work. Well, that's one of the things that works. You know, and the reason it works is it basically gives them a vested commitment in the party. I mean, you know, and if we don't make this change, I foresee the Libertarian Party growing. Because, you know, I mean, people have looked at the Republican Party. 2010, you know, was kind of the year of getting this horse out of the barn, and it ain't happening. You know, so we're the next logical place to go. True, we're not going to get 100% pure libertarians on the first pass, but we don't. But what happens over time is people start learning more that, you know, not only does the philosophy work, and we establish the membership. There are two ways to get ballot access, one of which is a number of registered voters, and the other is petitions. And if we can keep that membership growing to a certain point, we won't have to worry about petitioning at all. So, I mean, with this first token step, I think we're going that direction.
Assuming we do get to that number, that registration number, we're talking here about 7 or 8 people registering Libertarian or Republican. Is that going to help us?
Well, you've got 1.3 million voters in the state. 20% of that is 260,000, so it puts you a little shy. Just a little shy of that number.
Well, I'll agree with that, but at the same time, the number of registered Republicans is just dropping like a stone. You know, we have to capture some of this, you know, release from that and the Democratic Party, because that number's fallen too.
Well, again, what does this change do? What does this change physically do? It makes Schiff, if he's going to run under our banner, to drop his party Republican registration?
No. All it does is it says if you want to serve on the SEC, you need to be registered.
Or as an officer.
Or as an officer. So if you want to be the secretary, you can't vote for Ron Paul in the primary.
No, yeah, well, basically, you know. Is there any other discussion?
You know, I agree with the goal of registering more people in the party. I can't say that I agree with the way. But I want to ask, you said this is something that major parties do that works. What does it work for? What do they accomplish by doing this?
Well, it accomplishes the goal of, you know, getting people to hold that voting registration. You know, because if they don't hold that voting registration, they fall below 20%, and then they're a minor party.
I understand that, but how
We've
does
never had
this
that.
get that?
It actually gives people a vested interest. I mean, because right now, think of it this way. you remember how many people came by to, like, you know, the SEC? I'm a Republican, I want to run as a Republican, but I want the Libertarian Party to endorse me, but I don't want a petition. I mean, this will basically start sending the message that, you know what, if you're going to run as a Libertarian, be a Libertarian, petition, you know, get some skin in the game.
I think you could send that message, but the candidate is not a member of the SEC. This doesn't say the candidates have to be registered.
That's true.
We already prohibit other parties from running on our ballot. That's already prohibited, I believe, in the bylaws.
Yeah.
Is that national or state bylaws?
This is going to really part the seas for us. I don't think this is really the pivotal issue.
Yeah, this
I'm looking at it, our state party chair should be a registered Libertarian. Our state party's vice chair should be a registered Libertarian. And that's how I'm looking at it. Less concerned with our candidates.
I have to say that I agree with what she's saying. It's one thing to say we've got a candidate over here who embodies libertarian principles and believes in it, but for practical reasons he remains a Republican. That's one thing. But for the party leadership,
time has passed. Now we're going to take a vote on the proposed section to be inserted.
Let me understand. This is saying that the party leaders, such as chair, have to be libertarians.
Is that a point of information?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it does.
Okay, but it
Says
doesn't
the
say.
party leaders have to be registered libertarians.
And that's all it's saying. It's not saying candidates
I'll
or
read it
anyone
again
else.
before we take a vote. The new section is Section 6, eligibility requirements. It says, no one shall serve as a member of the State Central Committee, comma, an officer of the Libertarian Party of Connecticut, comma, or within a committee or ad hoc organization established by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut, unless they are registered to vote as a Libertarian in the state of Connecticut. So the way I read that on first pass, yes, it includes the officers, but I suppose on second glance, you know, you could also say, well, it might be prohibitive too.
Yeah.
So, that said, all in favor of the amendment as proposed? All opposed to the amendment? Motion fails. Are there any proposed amendments to the proposed amendments from the floor?
Yes.
We have two. We'll take them one at a time.
If it was just the SCC, I would vote yes. But the other parts, you know, if it was just shortened, so only no member of the SCC, the first portion, I would support it.
But is that a proposed amendment?
My proposed amendment would be to strike everything after that.
including the officers?
No, the officers. SCC is officers.
Okay.
They're covered already.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, you want to strike everything from or within a committee or ad hoc organization
Correct,
established.
because I think that can be established by the SCC at their discretion.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'd kind of like to hear what the other one's going to be first, because
Well, no. I want to get them. I want to get them both down.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll
so
second
that one has been seconded. And your motion is?
Mine starts with that and expands it to officer of a local affiliate as well.
Okay,
Because
so
those are the leadership positions within our party. So no member, no officer of the state central committee or officer of local affiliate can be read.
so you're offering an amendment, a friendly amendment to his.
Can I withdraw my amendment and adopt hers?
Yours was never, well, okay.
Or
This was
something?
seconded,
Yes.
but it was
That's why I
never-
didn't want to do it.
Okay.
I don't care.
I'll go ahead and allow it because it makes sense for.
Otherwise, I'm going to vote against my own and vote for hers.
Okay, so your proposed amendment, if I'm understanding this correctly, would read, no one shall serve as a member of the State Central Committee, comma, an officer of the Libertarian Party of Connecticut, comma, or as an officer of any local affiliate, unless they are registered to vote as a Libertarian in the state of Connecticut?
Correct.
Except, give us that,
Change unless they are to who is.
who is not.
Well, the not remains. I thought the word
No
not
one
was in
shall
there.
serve, yada, yada, yada.
Unless he or she.
You got it nailed.
Yeah.
What's the amendment?
Who is not,
No one shall serve who
Amendment
is
is
not.
who is not.
registered.
instead of unless they are.
Are you making it?
We're finishing.
We're making a grammar.
I asked for my
He's
alternate
wordsmithing.
language.
He's just correcting the grammar, I assume, right?
Yes, grammatical thing.
Yes.
Wordsmithing is acceptable.
And
I want to be able to vote against my proposal.
So I will read it again. Unless.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be who is not.
Okay, just so we have everything straight, it shall read, no one shall serve as a member of the State Central Committee, comma, an officer of the Libertarian Party of Connecticut, comma, or an officer of a county affiliate,
Local.
unless he
Local.
or she, local affiliate, unless he or she is registered to vote as a Libertarian in the state of Connecticut.
You just changed that.
Yeah.
Unless, where's unless?
Unless.
Okay, strike that and say who is not.
Who is not a registered
registered
Libertarian.
to vote as a Libertarian. Unless he or she, that goes, and we'll say who is not.
Saves grammar, saves gender neutrality.
is there a
Or
second?
gender neutral.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor of putting this forward as okay?
Is whatever it is.
Yeah, as whatever it is.
It's an amendment to a proposal.
Could you read the amendment? I was describing it to Councilman and a couple of party members.
Since they presented the point of
And then
information.
Jake wants.
And then we
Read
go on.
it, read it. Shall.
Read it,
Shall.
Josh.
Shall.
Okay. The proposed amendment to the current proposal is to shorten it to only apply to SCC members and officers, and add officer of local affiliate, and fix the grammar so that rather than saying no one shall serve unless they, we say no one shall serve without being.
Is that,
Close enough.
is that suitable?
Who is
Who is
not?
not?
That'll work too.
Without being.
I'm not gonna
I just
complain.
couldn't fix the grammar.
That's fine, that's fine. So that means we're good.
Okay, so it's been seconded.
Now it's time to vote on it.
All in favor
Of the amendment.
of the amendment? All in favor of the amendment? All opposed to the amendment? Carl abstains? Okay. Now, we're gonna take a vote on whether this amended amendment goes into the bylaws. All in favor of making it part of the bylaws?
Get back.
7.
4, right?
This is for.
And can I ask the treasurer how many credentialed delegates you have right now? Credentialed? You just credentialed the 2 more, I think?
Yep.
The Aaron's here.
So we're at 9.
We are at 9.
Okay, all opposed? It carries. It's part of the bylaws as revised.
Yeah,